Hey guys, I am Natalia at Mom's Dish, and this is...
I'm Bernard Jensen, Executive Chef at Zwilling.
And today we're going to show you all you need to know about knives. If I was to buy one knife, what knife would it be?
You want to find your favorite chef's knife. And
Okay.
I brought 3 of them. I have a German-style 8-inch chef's knife, an Asian-style Sentoku, which is a 7-inch blade with a wide handle, and my favorite chef's knife, a rocking Sentoku.
Okay, you said this one is your favorite. Tell me why.
So let me start with a traditional German knife. This one comes with an extreme curve in the tip, which is going to support a circular rocking motion. A German chef's knife is sharpened in a 30-degree angle, 15 degrees on both sides. Then we have our Asian-style Santoku, which comes with an edge that's almost straight.
Okay.
So that's your chopper. And it has a sharper angle, a 20-degree angle, 10 on both sides. And why I like this one the best is because it has the best of both worlds.
Oh.
It has an in-between shape supporting the rocking motion and the chopping motion, and it comes with a sharper 20-degree angle.
One of the things I did notice that this knife right here, the Asian knife, has little marks. What are they for?
Correct. We call that hollow edges, and that's allowing air pockets between your blade and your produce, so it helps with release. It doesn't make it non-stick, but especially for starchy product like potatoes,
Yes.
squashes, it helps with release.
I told Bernard I need 3 most used knives in the kitchen. He came up with 4. Tell me why.
So I brought 1 extra. First of all, you need your chef's knife for all your prep work. Like 85% of the time you use this knife for your celery, your carrots, your herbs. Then you want to have a paring knife, a short blade. I always prevent using this on a cutting board. This is my knife for handheld work, so peeling and cleaning. Then you need a serrated blade for anything that has a tough skin, a soft inner, tomatoes, bell pepper, eggplant, even pineapple or your crusty breads. If you go for crusty breads, you take a longer serrated blade.
Well, can you get rid of this one and use chef's knife?
No.
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 You need this,
You
okay.
need a serrated blade in your selection.
Okay.
And then I brought 1 extra. I want to have a thinner blade. So if you look at the thickness of a chef's knife compared to a slicing carving knife, a slicing carving knife is way thinner.
Yes.
A thinner blade will be way better for delicate product like fish and meat.
So this is something I noticed my mom does. She's Ukrainian, grew up in Ukraine, and she cuts everything in hand. So I actually just realized that we grew up mainly with a paring knife. So she literally will cut potatoes in her hands.
Yeah.
I'm sure her knives were not this sharp, but she only uses her hands. She doesn't even use cutting boards.
Correct. How does she do that? With a pumpkin?
I don't know. Actually, we probably had a knife like this. I don't remember. But growing up, I remember her cutting everything in her hands.
Yeah.
Okay, so these 2 knives, we have chef's knife and Santoku. What is the main difference?
So a German chef's knife comes with a curve in the tip, which is going to support the circular rocking motion where the tip of your knife is always pointing down, touching your board. You drop your blade, you push it forward, so you're going to cut on the forwards motion. It's a push cut. You lift it, you move it back, and you start all over again. It should feel like a locomotive, and if I would film it from this side, I should be able to see a circle. With an Asian-style Santoku, we're looking at an edge that's almost straight. So it's going to be hard to finish the circle. So you're going to lift the tip is not on your cutting board anymore, and you're going to cut like this.
Chop.
So it's a chopping motion.
This one is almost like dancing around on a cutting board.
Correct, correct.
So here's what happened. Off camera, I grabbed the knife like this, and Bernard was like, we need to show you how to hold a knife.
Correct.
Show me.
Because if you have a lot of prep work to do, you want to have control. And that means the blade needs to become an extension of your arm. The Zwilling Pro series, they come with a curved bolster, which is perfectly supporting the pinch grip. And that means that your thumb should actually be on the steel, your pointing index finger on the other side, and there's 3 fingers loosely around the handle. And this way your blade becomes an extension of your arm, and that's going to give you more control.
Can I grab it?
Sure.
Like this?
Perfect. That's perfect.
Okay. That makes
And
sense.
that's a perfect rocking motion.
So I always feel like this is the grip, and I think most people do.
Correct. But you want to make it an extension of your arm. If you practice that, you're going to get more control.
Okay, we have 3 serrated knives here. When do you use one?
So we recommend using a serrated blade on anything that has a tough, hard skin and a soft inner.
Okay.
bell peppers, tomato, eggplant, crusty breads, pineapple. That's where you pick a serrated knife. So we have an old serration, a traditional serrated blade out here, which is a 7-inch. But I also brought 2 Z15 serrated blades. And that's a funny story. The Z stands for Zwilling. 15 because we made 14 different designs, prototypes before we decided,
Like
okay, tries, yeah, the 15th design is the way to go, and that we took that one into production. And if you look closely at the edge, you can see 1 high point, 2 low scallops, 1 high point, 2 low scallops. While cutting, only the high points will hit your cutting board, the hard surface of your cutting board. So the low scallops are protecting from hitting hard surface, therefore they won't dull as fast. And because of the rounded shape of the scallops, it won't tear as much, it won't crumble as much as a traditional serrated blade.
Okay, and this one?
So basically this is the 9-inch version of that, and this is the one I would use for my crusty artisan breads, my pineapples. So bigger fruits, bigger breads, you go for longer blades.
So you're telling me I should use serrated knife for bell peppers?
Yeah, so that the outer skin of a bell pepper is tough.
Okay.
So then a serrated knife definitely helps.
Okay, how do I hold this knife? Is it the same way?
Same pinch grip, comes with the curved bolster, so pinch it. And if you feel that your blade is too short while pinching it, that means that you need to go for a longer blade.
Okay, so this would be better for breads. You still
Correct.
hold it like this,
You
even if
still
you're cutting
pinch
it for bread.
You still pinch it.
Okay, you guys.
But of course, a serrated knife is used in the sawing motion. And you want to use the full length of the blade while sawing, and you don't want to apply any downwards pressure. Often when I see people cut a baguette, they only press down and then that slice got squeezed.
Yes.
And you should just start at the tip, move to the handle, make long strokes, and the knife will find its way down by itself.
So we have 2 knives here. We have the German knife and then we have the Japanese knife. Tell me about the difference.
Right, so Zwilling is made in Solingen, Germany. Solingen, Germany is the center of the European knife production. This knife is made out of 1 piece of metal, a forged knife.
Okay.
We also own a brand called Miyabi. The factory is in Seiki, Japan. Seiki, Japan is the center of the Japanese knife production. And these knives are often made out of multi-layered steel. So they're folded, hammered, folded, hammered, folded, hammered, and then sharpened, a beautiful handle. Difference is also the steel. German knife is 57 Rockwell hardness steel. This is Miyabi birchwood. It's around 62 Rockwell hardness.
So we have 3 different knives here, different length. What is the advantage of the longer knife?
So a longer knife will give you more clearance under your blade.
Oh.
So if you work in a rocking motion where the tip is always on your cutting board, if your blade is longer, you can cut bigger produce still using the rocking motion.
Ooh, I had no idea.
If you go really big, let's say a Napa cabbage, that's really big, then this doesn't work anymore. It's not comfortable if you want to keep the tip on your board.
True.
So then you're going to lift the tip and you're actually going to start chopping.
Okay, that makes sense. I would do that, but I had no idea that you can cut bigger objects.
Yeah, so if this would be a 10-inch knife, then my handle would be here if the tip is on my cutting board. So there's more clearance
Yes,
under
this
your
was
blade.
an 8-inch.
This is 8-inch. We have a 7-inch slim, and then we have a 5.5-inch prep knife. 5.5 prep knife, there's almost no clearance under your blade, right? So this is for smaller produce. So when you're talking about knife skills, you can basically divide it into 3 different techniques. You have the push, the forwards motion, often used for all your veggies. Then you have the pull motion, the backwards motion, for your fish and meat. And then there's the sawing motion, whenever you use a serrated knife for anything that has a hard skin, soft inner, and that's back and forwards, the sawing motion.
Biggest pet peeve is a dull knife.
Yeah.
Why do we need to sharpen a knife? Tell everybody.
So, few reasons. 1, a sharp knife is faster. It's more precise, but most important, it's safe, because if your knife is dull, you're going to apply a lot of pressure, and then the chance of sliding and slipping and cutting yourself, hurting yourself is way bigger than using a sharp knife.
I also feel like the experience in the kitchen is so much better with a sharp knife.
Yeah.
Like cutting a tomato with a dull knife. Like, I don't know why
so
people
you're
do
going to
that.
squeeze out all the juices. So for soft produce like tomato, you definitely need a sharp knife.
How would you sharpen a knife?
So there's a few ways you can sharpen or maintain the edge of your knife. So if we look at the edge of this 8-inch chef's knife, it looks like a smooth edge. But if you put a microscope on the edge, you can actually see thousands of little teeth. If you start using the knife, hitting hard surface, hitting your cutting board, those teeth roll over. That's where your knife feels dull. Okay. First thing is maintenance, a honing steel. That's going to realign the teeth again. It's going to put it back in the right direction. Your knife feels sharp again. After a while, the honing stick doesn't do the job anymore. Then you need to sharpen your blade. That means setting back the correct angle to the edge. You can use a whetstone, which is needs a skill and it's a dirty job. There's also a way easier way. Zwilling owns a company called Knife Aid. You go online, you order an envelope, either 4, 5, 7, 10 or 14 knives. We will ship you the envelope. It comes with it comes with sheets to protect the knife.
So you fold this over and just kind of fits in there?
Correct.
Perfect. And it also has like a bag in there. We have it somewhere else to the side.
You ship them. Once they get to our workshop, within 24 hours, we ship them back.
This is awesome. So for this knife specifically, for the serrated knife, you should not do this.
No, you should not use a honing steel. If you want to use a honing steel, you should do it teeth by teeth, which is a hell of a job. So send that to Knife Aid.
Is it like this?
Yeah.
How did I hold it like this?